Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our first ever HOSA Talk. We're really excited to be able to not only go over some of the very important parts of our HOSA year, but we're also very excited to answer your questions. Now, some of you might be thinking, how do I leave a question to be answered towards the end of this webinar? You can leave your questions in the comment section below on this video, as well as using the hashtag HOSATalk on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and we will make sure to check those to get your questions. So before we begin talking about the year ahead of us, I'd like to go ahead and start with introducing who is on this webinar. So first, I'd like to throw it off to our Region 1 Vice President to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jada Holiday, and I'm proudly serving as your National Region 1 Vice President. I'm really excited to see how you guys grow this year within your state organizations and put on the best fall leadership and state leadership conferences this year. I would now like to introduce Holly Harden.
Hi guys, I'm Holly Harden, your Region 2 Vice President, and I'm so excited to meet all of you this year and to hear about your HOSA stories. Now I'll turn it over to your Region 3 Vice President.
All right, and then my name is Elizabeth Carnesi, your National President. While we're kind of figuring out our technology, let's go ahead and start with a recap of the year and things that have already happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a recap of our WLA, our Washington Leadership Academy, from about 2 weeks ago. We're going to start off hearing about that from Holly Harden.
Yes, this past WLA was my first WLA to attend, and it was our 10th annual WLA. It was an awesome experience, and I'm so thankful for the people that I got to meet there, and I hope you have learned a lot about leadership and how to be a servant leader through that. Being a servant leader is what we focused on at WLA this year. We talked about the core values that we hold true to yourself that make you who you are as a leader. We talked about the importance of showing those values through everything you do, such as loyalty, friendship, whatever you hold close to your heart is what makes you a good leader. If you'd be interested in attending our 11th annual WLA, you can log on to hosa.org and learn more about WLA. We would love to see you there next year. Now I'll turn it back over to Jada.
Great, I love WLA. Thank you for that recap, Holly. Now I just wanted to let everyone know that we are connected on all social media, and HOSA is all about staying connected. All your national officers have Facebook pages, and you can search any of our pages depending on your state's region. And if you don't know what your state's region is, you can check out the HOSA handbook in Section A, and it will give you all the information you need. Once you join, you are free to share your HOSA stories, incredible ideas, and amazing things you are doing within your state organizations. So get connected so we can keep you updated on all things National HOSA and everything going on within your states. National HOSA is also on Twitter and Instagram at National HOSA. Be on the lookout for updates about ILC and scholarship opportunities. So get plugged in. We love to know what our members are up to. I'll turn it back over to Liz.
So as we continue to recap on the year and talking to you guys about getting connected, let's talk about our recap of our International Leadership Conference. And I'm going to give it off to Abraham Onifade, your Region 3 Vice President.
Hi, everyone. So as mentioned, I'm Abraham Onifade, your Region 3 Vice President, and I'd like to talk about our 2016 International Leadership Conference. So it was an amazing conference with over 9,200 members, and this year we're looking to get to even 10,000 possibly. So we had tons of different opportunities with different seminars and workshops for you to learn at. And we had, even this year, we had Region 1 win the Regional Cup. So keep that in mind this year as trying to gain members, which we'll talk about later. So there were tons of different opportunities and amazing just seminars for us to watch. And it was an amazing conference overall. So stay tuned with us to See, this year, we're going to have the 2017 International Leadership Conference at the Disney Coronado Springs in Orlando, California. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Elizabeth, I believe.
All right, thank you, Abraham. So what we kind of wanted to do in this webinar is talk about some of the goals for this year and how you can get involved in achieving these goals. So the first goal that we wanted to talk about is our membership. So for this upcoming year, the National Executive Council decided to set a membership goal of reaching 225,000 members by the end of this year. And we can't do that without you. And so all of this goes back to ways that you can engage with potential members and keep engaging with current members. So we had some ideas, and we wanted you to think of some ideas and spark that thought in your mind about ways to engage with members. So we thought of things like ice cream socials, getting people together to talk about, you know, future health professionals and different health professions that people can go into. We thought about bringing in speakers to talk about health careers and getting them to really talk to your members about different paths that they can take other than, you know, a veterinarian or just a doctor, and really going deep into all of the different careers that are inside of the health fields. We also wanted to talk about getting members excited to go to conferences. Fall Leadership Conference season is coming up, and so we're really excited to see how many people that go to these conferences, and we're really excited to see how each state individually engages with members on that level. We also wanted to talk about engaging on social media. So getting members inside of your states to like your pages on Facebook and get together on Twitter and Instagram and follow so that they have all of the most important information throughout the year. And then the list just goes on and on. If you think of any others, feel free to share them. And it's really important that you do share them, because without a large group of people working together, we can't ever achieve our goals. We also wanted to talk about fundraisers and community service. So this year, our national service project is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And so we really want to stress the importance of partnering with them and working with them inside of your communities. So what we wanted to talk to you about is how you can get involved a little bit with NAMI and how you can get involved community service-wise. So as far as NAMI goes, we'll talk a little bit about that later. But there are plenty of ways to fundraise and do community service with our National Service Project this year. We also wanted to talk to you guys about the Barbara James Service Award. So this is a recognition event that anyone can participate in as well as compete. And so the way that you participate in the Barbara James Service Award is you do community service. And there are 3 levels of the Barbara James Service Award. The bronze level, which is from 100 to 174 hours of community service. Silver, from 175 to 249 hours of community service, and then the gold level, which is 250 hours or more of community service. So we challenge you to get involved this year in community service, and we challenge you to fundraise and get involved with our National Service Project. And we will definitely continue to talk more about our National Service Project later in this webinar. The final thing that we wanted to talk to you about a little bit more is our e-magazine. So our e-magazine is a seasonal publication that will be coming out towards the end of this year. And it will include really exciting articles about our associations, how to become more involved in your organization, stories from members from around the world and talking about their favorite part of being a HOSA member, and so much more. We also wanted to talk about how you can submit stories for the e-magazine. So if you and your chapter or you and your state are doing something really cool, we want to know about it. So what you can do is on Facebook, you can put your story on Facebook and tag National HOSA in it, or you can email your respective region vice president. Again, you can find more information about which region your state is in our HOSA Handbook, Section A, the emails can be found for your region vice presidents on the HOSA website. We're really looking forward to seeing what you do this year, and we're really excited to see how you engage with members. At this time, to talk more about our service project, I'd like to hand it over to Jada.
So this year, National HOSA has partnered with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and we are excited to get all of you involved. I have a personal connection with this year's National Service Project, and I just want to give you some tips on how you and your state organization can get involved and why it's important. You can get involved by simply taking a pledge. It's called the Stigma Free Pledge. You could go online to the national organization's website and take the pledge either as a chapter, as a state organization, and you are already making a difference by spreading the awareness. You can also find a NAMI walk near you. I know in Oklahoma, we have a couple of NAMI walks, and I can't wait to get involved and do one myself this year. So you can get involved. You can either do the walk, you can volunteer. Either way, you are making a difference, and that is what HOSA is all about. There are many more ideas, and we are excited to see what you all do this year. Remember to track how many hours you volunteer and or how much money you raise as an organization and as a chapter, and you track them in the National Service Project Recognition Event Center, which you can also find on HOSA or nationalhosa.org. You can access, if you want more information on accessing this system, you can either go online or you can email your respective region vice president, and we will give you more information on that. Let us know what you are doing to make a difference with this year's service project by tagging us in all that you do, which means staying connected on social media. So you can tag us in the region Facebook post, or you can email it to us, You can email it to us, and we will let everyone know what you are doing to make a difference. Each year, there is one state and one individual chapter recognized for their hard work and their accomplishments. So I want to encourage you all to get involved and to give back to your communities. Because as HOSA members, we are called to serve, and I have no doubt that that's what you all will do extremely well this year. Good luck and happy serving. I would now like to turn it over to your Region 2 Vice President.
Hey again, today I just want to talk to you a little bit about STEM Premier and what that offers for HOSA students. If you're looking for a way to showcase your grades, scores, HOSA badges, and working experience, you can do that by creating a STEM Premier profile. I highly encourage all of you to log on to stempremier.com and start working on your profile today. STEM Premier has thousands of scholarships worth thousands of dollars wanting to give to students just like you. HOSA has a scholarship that is available through STEM Premier, so please take advantage of this and create your profile and apply as soon as possible. Again, that is stempremier.com/HOSA. I will now turn it over to Abraham, your Region 1 Vice President.
Hi, I'm Abraham Onifade, your Region 3 Vice President, and I would just like to continue updating you on some things that we have in HOSA going on this year. So as I mentioned before, we have the 2016 Leadership Conference, 2017 International Leadership Conference coming up, and I just want you to start being prepared for that, because now there's going to be tons of different opportunities that you can start studying to get a chance on stage further in the future. So we also have a lot of different things coming on throughout the school year. And around this time now, there's tons of different leadership conferences many are going to have around the fall period. So we want you to start getting prepared for that. And don't forget to use tons of opportunities that you've learned before that you can use this now in your as you go back to your conferences. And also keep it in mind for your future regional conferences and even your state conferences. To remember all the things you've learned, and that you can even reach out to other national officers or anyone who could be of help of you that we can help you give you the information that you need. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back to your president, Elizabeth Carnesi.
So another really great opportunity that our members have is to attend the Public Health Leadership Scholars Program. And so this is a week-long program that takes place in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and students are able to not only meet, but they're also able to network with health professionals inside of the Washington, D.C. area. And so these are people that work inside of government and that work inside of sectors like the Health and Human Services Department, the Medical Reserve Corps. They work inside of our nation's capital, and they are very excited to talk about what they have done and what they, what their jobs are with students and advisors and alumni members that are interested in public health. And so it was great to not only learn about the government portion of healthcare, but it's also great to learn more about public health and to really see how public health is in all aspects of health. So these are aspects of health and careers inside of health, such as nursing, veterinary work, doctoring, etc. And so it was very interesting, as somebody who actually attended this seminar and this scholars program, to really learn more about all of the different areas that public health worked inside of. And it was really interesting to see how there was such a great overlap between public health and every different section of health in general. And so it's a program that I would highly recommend. There were lots of great opportunities to meet with people that work inside of our nation's capital. We had the great opportunity to speak with the Surgeon General. We were also able to go and meet with our congressional representatives and talk to them more about HOSA and what it really means to be a future health professional and why it's so important that HOSA remains inside of classes and all sorts of things. So at this point, we would like to open it up to our Q&A session. So we're going to be taking some of the questions that we've gotten so far, and we're going to be answering those questions for you. So the first question is, what are the HOSA core values? And so, Jada, I'm going to give you that question.
So the theme of WLA this year was talking about leadership with core values. And it was exceptional to get to see all the different members come around and realize, there are values that we take, but they're also monetary. And then there are core values that we can't live without. So it was really cool to see them recognize their core values and then take HOSA's core values, which are professionalism and just things like those, like that, and honesty and loyalty and relationships. And seeing us all come together and bond through those core values was really, really extraordinary. My group personally, I think we did an activity and it was like betting on like your core values. So it was like buying back your core values. And one that went up for high bid was professionalism, because as HOSA members and as medical professionals, it's important to maintain a level of professionalism within the workplace, outside of the workplace, and at different things like conferences and in interviews. So being able to see and to see members know that that's important was just extraordinary. And it inspired me to always maintain a level of professionalism and to know that everybody understands to maintain a level of professionalism. So those are just a couple of the core values that we talked about. There were many, many more. I believe there were around 40 core values, but I know that professionalism was a big one. So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Jada. So our next question is, what happens at fall leadership conferences? And so I'm going to hand that one off to Abraham.
Hi, so at fall leadership conferences, those are a really interesting thing that HOSA has. And if you're familiar with WLA, we have things where we bring state officers or just different even local officers now from all around the country to come to one place to really learn about being a leader and just develop your leadership skills. So what we have in fall rallies or fall leadership conferences is that your individual state will have an opportunity to bring across leaders from diverse parts of the states, because all of the states in the country range from different sizes. So your individual one will have a chance to really bring together the leaders and really train you guys to be better leaders for the members of your communities. And I'll hand it back over to Elizabeth.
All right, thank you so much, Abraham. So our next question is going to be, who gets to go to WLA? And so I will hand that one off to Holly.
Yes, WLA is mainly for your state officers and your local officers. It's a place where you can learn more about leadership, and they'll bring that back home to you and share that through their state teams and their chapter teams. So please, if you are interested in going to WLA, please ask for more information, because it's a lot of fun and you do learn a lot.
All right, thank you, Holly. So that's really cool that anybody can attend our Washington Leadership Academy, and it's pretty unique as well. So our next question is, what post-secondary tips do you have? So I will take this question. So as a sophomore in college, the post-secondary division of HOSA is great, and there are so many different opportunities inside of the post-secondary collegiate division inside of HOSA. So for tips on starting a post-secondary collegiate chapter or ways to engage with your members on the post-secondary collegiate division level, check out hosa.org. Check out our website, and on the website we have handbooks. So these handbooks have really good tips and tricks about how to get your members involved and different ideas and ways to fundraise, community service ideas. They're just filled with information that can be used to better prepare your chapters and better work inside of your chapters. Other tips that I have, having been in college for a year and having been part of my college's HOSA chapter, is to really engage with your collegiate members and really communicate effectively with them. Everybody's busy in college and at the post-secondary collegiate level. But if you really make sure that everybody is on the same page, knows when the meetings are, and you make sure that the meetings are interesting, you can bring in different speakers. That's been very effective at my college. Those are just ways that you can engage with members on the post-secondary collegiate level. I would also recommend reaching out to other colleges to see what they have and they've done throughout the years. And if your state has a post-secondary collegiate vice president, I would reach out to them as well, because they'll have a lot of different information and a lot of good information to use as well. So then our next question is going to be, what is HOSA about? The question says, what is HOSA about? I know it's related to healthcare, but what else is it about? And so I'm going to hand this one off to Jada.
I could talk about HOSA for hours, honestly, for years. But yes, HOSA is about healthcare, but it's about so much more. I think I was attracted to HOSA the most because of its involvement with its community and giving back to the community. I love volunteering and seeing the way someone's face light up when you give voluntarily your time or your money or just your service back to someone else who's in need of it. It's a very special thing knowing that they're getting something incredible out of your service. So I think, yes, it's about medicine, but it's also about service. It's about leading within your community. It's about innovating. It's about learning. It's about serving. So HOSA is so much, it's about the medical profession and the different aspects of being a medical professional. Pierre Quinn was a keynote speaker at WLA this year, and he talked about putting the care back in healthcare. And the only way you can put the care back in healthcare is by serving. And that's what being a HOSA member is all about. So that was a great question. And I'm so thankful that Liz gave me the opportunity to answer it. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Jada. So our next question is, when will state and national officer applications be available? And I'm going to hand that one off to Abraham.
Hi, so in the past, national officer applications are available around the time of April. For state officer applications, those are vary per state. So I would advise you to reach out to your state advisor or leaders to find out exactly when that can be on their website or free chance, anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna hand it back to Liz for more questions.
All right, thank you so much, Abraham. So our next question is, do you have recommendations for fundraisers and what has been done in the past? And I'm going to hand this one off to Holly.
Yes, as we all know, keeping your student-led organization up off the ground is extremely important. Personally, my chapter back in high school, we did fundraisers year-round. Several of our most helpful fundraisers, we actually partnered with other organizations. The more people you can get involved, the better. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't aware of what exactly HOSA is, and HOSA is an awesome organization to get involved in. And with partnering with other organizations, you can pull those people in and really get the awareness out for HOSA. As far as fundraisers, anything you can do to get involvement with your community is extremely important. Ask around. That's how you're going to learn, is ask other people, ask other state officers. Ask people of other positions in different organizations what they're doing that works for them, and where you're at is where you're probably going to find your best fundraisers.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Holly. So another place where you can find some fundraising ideas is if you go to our website, hosa.org, you can go to the search bar and look up Team HOSA. And so what this is an e-guide filled with activities and fundraising ideas, community service ideas, and things of that nature that you can implement inside of your own chapters. So definitely use all of those resources that are available to you on our HOSA website. So our next question is, what does HOSA mean to you in the world of education? So this is a question that I'll have everybody answer. So I will kind of start off with this question. So HOSA inside of the world of education provides students the opportunity to not only learn about the skills, but to actually implement them. So I know that a lot of students inside of HOSA actually start working inside of their fields, their dream fields. And inside of our Career and Technical Student Organization, or CTSO, inside of HOSA, we really focus on learning the skills and applying them inside of our fields. So I know that when I was in high school, I did a bioscience CTE Career and Technical Education track. And so because of that, I was able to get an internship inside of a real pediatric oncology medical research lab. And it was a great experience for me, not only because I was able to apply the skills that I had learned, but I was able to really kind of learn more about the different fields inside of biomedical research, because there's a lot of different positions that you can take on inside of that field. And so it was a great learning experience. And a lot of members inside of HOSA are able to really apply those skills, the things that they're learning inside of their classrooms, to the professional setting and inside of real professional working labs and veterinary clinics and sports medicine clinics and things like that. So it's really a great way educationally to apply the skills that you've learned. And so I will hand this off now to Abraham on what HOSA means to you in the world of education.
Hi, well, very similarly, I really like what Liz just said, because it also impacts my own life. Throughout my years in high school, I was in HOSA all 4 years. In education, it was really the application of what you've learned, and in competitive events especially, because in my high school personally, like things in the medical profession were broken down as in, this is what you have to learn. But in HOSA, like, I was able to choose what I wanted to do for a medical competition or anything like that. So it really gave me the opportunity to find out what I liked and just test out everything, and then be able to test how much I had retained and see how much it really impacted me when I was able to go to even state or even national or international conferences against tons of other people, to really see how much it had impacted me. So I was really getting to see my education like firsthand before my eyes, to see how it changed my life through competitions and things like that. So I'm going to hand it over back to Liz to delegate the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham. So I'm going to hand this one off to Holly next.
Yes, I'm so excited to answer this question, because HOSA really helped me figure out what I was going to do in high school as far as continuing my education in college. I have decided that medicine is where I'm supposed to be, and I have HOSA to thank for that. My last 2 years in high school especially, I got to do hands-on things that helped me realize that that's what I wanted, that's what I was passionate about. HOSA showed me that. And through HOSA, I've also got to compete in events at state and the national level with prepared speaking. Another thing that I'm very passionate about, I've got to do that through HOSA. So HOSA means a lot to me, and it has allowed me to experience things that I would not have got to do if I was not involved in this organization.
All right, thank you, Holly. And now I'm going to hand this off to Jada.
What HOSA means to me in the world of education, it's been very impactful for me. Being a senior in high school, you usually are undecided, but ever since I've joined HOSA, I know exactly what I want to do as I continue my education next year in college and soon hopefully medical school. I got the chance to volunteer at a hospital this year, and usually people my age or my grade don't get to do that much, but because of the experience and the skills that I already had obtained from being in HOSA, I was given a position that usually 2-year volunteers get. And I was honored and thankful to HOSA for that, for the educational aspect of it all. So I wouldn't have gotten that experience without HOSA and the skills that I obtained. So it means a lot to me.
All right, thank you so much, Jada. So our next question is, how did you become a national officer and what is the process like? So I would like all of us to also answer this question. And I will hand it off to Holly to start with.
Yes, my journey to become a national officer is a little different than most of you would think. I actually went from membership to the national level. I skipped being a state officer. It was different, but it's very doable. The process is easy. They make it easy for you. They want you to succeed, and they want you to be the best that you can be and be the best for the organization. So through this process, I did learn a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about HOSA while doing this too. I decided a couple of months before the application came available that going to the national level was something that I wanted to try. So I did try, and it worked out, and I highly encourage you, if you are the least bit interested, to jump and take the leap because it's well worth it.
All right, so I'll hand this question off to Jada next. So how did you become a national officer and what is that process like?
I served as the state president in the state of Oklahoma, and that was an incredible experience. And I really was encouraged by the relationships that I built with my members to run for national office. I think I get most of my inspiration from them. No, actually, I don't think I know that I get most of my inspiration from you guys. You guys have incredible stories and you're incredible people. And I couldn't wait to meet all of you at ILC. It is a long process, but it is so worth it in the end. Just getting to meet all the different applicants and the different members that were there, the different voting delegates, just hearing them and their stories, it was just so inspiring and so encouraging. So I highly recommend it. Yes, it is a long process, but we're HOSA members and we are strong, so you can definitely do it.
All right, thank you so much, Jada. And now I'm going to hand this question off to Abraham. So how did you become a national officer and what is that process like?
Thanks, Liz. I have to agree with Jada so much. Like, it's a really rigorous process, but you don't understand how rewarding it is in the end. So just like a lot of the other national officers said, like I started off as the member at large for the state of New Jersey, and then I went on to becoming the vice president for the state of New Jersey. And really, it was just so much encouragement, especially from advisors and mentors and people around me that really kept pushing me to be all that I could be. So it was just so much like encouragement. And I've spent a lot of time in HOSA, so I've been to 2 WLAs beforehand, and just meeting so many people there and at 2 other ILC national leadership conferences, like meeting so many people from all around made me want to hold on to these relationships. And I knew I could make even more new ones and meet even the old people I've met before so many times from running for national office. So it was really just tons of encouragement from advisors and people around me that pushed me to become what I can be today. So back to you, Liz.
All right, thank you so much, Abraham. So the process that I went through to become a national officer, I had served for 2 years on the local level. I had served as a community service committee head, and then I had served as the reporter for my local chapter. And then I decided to take it one step farther, and I decided to run for state office, where I served as the Arizona historian reporter in my senior year of high school. And then my senior year of high school, I decided that I wanted to try and take that next step to run for national office. Now, the process to run for national office is a little bit little bit intense. You start out with an application where they ask you questions about what position you'd like, things like that. And then you submit that to National HOSA. And then after that, you create a video. And so actually, if you go onto YouTube and you search HOSA National Officer Candidates, there will be videos that come up from the past 2 years that are the National Officer Candidate videos. And so these are videos about the candidates, things that they enjoy, things like that. And then as soon as you submit your video, you wait until the International Leadership Conference. And so at the International Leadership Conference, it starts out with a test where it just tests your knowledge on HOSA and it tests your knowledge on parliamentary procedure. And then if you pass the test with a 70% or higher, you're able to go on to the interview round where you're slated, and then you get to run for national office. It's a really, really exciting process. I know that it's very nerve-wracking, but it's so exciting. Just like Abraham was saying, it also takes a lot of encouragement from your local, state advisors, your friends, your family, things like that. It's a totally exciting experience. And just like Holly was saying, if you're thinking about running for national office, I would highly encourage it. It's such a great experience, and definitely one where you learn a lot about yourself, but you also learn a lot more about the organization as a whole. It's so entirely rewarding, and I would highly recommend it. So our next question says, it's my first year in HOSA and I don't understand all the competitions. What can I compete in? So I will hand this one off to Jada to answer.
That is an excellent question. We actually talked about this a couple of days ago in class. We have a couple new host members, and they were looking at the different competitive events lists, and they were confused on what or where they fit in, or didn't know what competitive event to look at. So I directed them to the competitive events guidelines, which is on HOSA.org, or the national organization's website. And under then, it just kind of tells you, or it's called What Competitive Event is Right for You. And you take the different steps. So do you like to speak in public? If you do, it'll tell you to take the next step, and it'll list some competitions like public speaking, prepared speaking, and different things like that. If you like to use your hands, or you're in a specific class like biomedical sciences or dental assisting, it'll also assist you from there. So if go ahead and tell you what that article is called one more time. It's called What Competitive Event is Right for You. It's also on the HOSA national website at HOSA.org, and your state advisor and your chapter advisor can also get a hold of that.
All right, thank you so much, Jada. So our next question is, can I apply for a HOSA scholarship? And so I will hand this one off to Holly.
Yes, you can apply for the HOSA scholarship, and we would love for you to apply for the scholarship. The application will be available starting January 15th, and this is on STEM Premier. Go ahead and start building your profile for this. It will take you a little bit of time to get everything in there, but don't give up. Please keep plugging in as much as you can, and definitely apply for that scholarship and as many other scholarships as you qualify for. Thank you, Liz, and back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Holly. So at this time, I wanted to remind anyone who is on this webinar to take advantage of the regional Facebook pages, as well as our post-secondary collegiate Facebook page and group. So these are very important because we give out and send out information that pertains to each region and then to the post-secondary collegiate division on these pages. So we would highly encourage that anybody who is part of HOSA joins these pages. And so if you go onto Facebook and you start a search for HOSA Region 1, the group should show up, and then you should be able to join that group and be able to get all of the information that you need. So our next question is what were some of the biggest challenges in HOSA, or what was your biggest challenge in HOSA? And so this is a question that all of us are going to be answering. And so I'll hand it off to Abraham first.
Hi. So, in my biggest challenge in HOSA, like it's been a long 4 years, and there's just been like trying out for these huge opportunities, like running for office or really competitions or anything else like that. It can be very like it can cause a lot of anxiety and lots of like heart struggles and just make you like really doubt yourself at some points. But it's so amazing because HOSA inspires such a community of people around you who want nothing but the best for you. So it's been tons of like inspirational people pushing me, like advisors who are telling me like like that I can still keep going. So I would really say that having like tons of doubts, self-doubts and things like that is a huge challenge, but it's very surmountable. So thank you. I'll hand back to Liz.
All right, thank you so much, Abraham. I'm going to hand this one off to Holly next.
I will have to agree with Abraham on that. I think the biggest challenge that I came through with HOSA was that self-doubt and thinking I'm not as experienced or as prepared as some of the other people, whether I was competing against them at the state fall conference or even a national. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not as prepared or as experienced. I've never done this before. But it was the people that I had around me that supported me and just said, just give it a try. You know, you never know. And so I think that was the biggest challenge, was just keeping myself on track and knowing that I can do it. And even if I don't to come out on top, that the experience will always help and it will always come in when you need it.
All right, thank you so much, Holly. And I'm going to hand this question off to Jada. So Jada, what was your biggest challenge in HOSA?
I think my biggest challenge in HOSA was trying to pick and choose certain things that I could and couldn't do. I just love HOSA so much, I'm going to do everything. But I think I was picking between either competing in prepared speaking or competing in a biomedical competition, and because biomedical sciences is my class currently. But I really enjoy speaking in front of people, and the theme last year was speaking on something within the community that has helped change within, or that has been changed through medical professions, and I was personally a part of something like that, and it really spoke out to me. So HOSA inspired me to get involved and to compete. And from there, I actually placed second in my state in that competition, and it was something incredible. So it was a hard decision, but it was a great one in the end. So it was awesome.
All right, thank you so much, Jada. So this question is really a good question. It really makes us think. So I would agree with Abraham and Holly that a lot of the time it's very easy to kind of think, oh, you know, I can't do that. I couldn't possibly run for state office, and I couldn't possibly run for national office. And that's something that I think a lot of us run into. And that's a lot of the biggest challenge that's a very big challenge that I feel like a lot of people face. So what I would kind of recommend is to not short sell yourself. Everybody has the ability to do anything that they set their heart and mind to. So my biggest challenge would sort of be just like the same as Abraham and Holly, but taking it that one step further, the biggest challenge was actually not short selling myself and actually making myself and willing myself to take that next step. And I would highly recommend and challenge anybody that thinks that they can't do something to take that next step and to not short sell themselves, because you can do it. So this is the end of our webinar. If your question wasn't answered, please feel free to Facebook message any of us, or you can email hosa@hosa.org, or you can post on your region page, get involved on your HOSA region pages, and your questions will be answered. So again, please feel free to email us, Facebook message us, put it on your Facebook group, your Facebook region group, or email hosa@hosa.org. So just as a final reminder, make sure that you're following National HOSA on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you're following your region pages. So thank you so much for joining us. Our next HOSA Talk will be coming out pretty soon. So we hope to see you at our next HOSA Talk. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar.